All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope people can hear me. I hope I can hear myself because we just had a glitch as soon as we went live, but we are looking good. I think we're looking good. But anyway, welcome to another exciting episode of Tough Love Giggles on your go-to online radio station, After5Radio, dedicated to celebrating Africans in the diaspora. I am your host, aka the hype lady herself, Miss ThandoAmy, coming to you live all the way from Canada. And today our guest is actually based in Canada. So this is actually exciting because he is actually based in my former city, York City, the city of Edmonton. Now, I was about to say, what is Edmonton known for? Anyway, we're going to have him on soon because Calgary is known as the bright city or sunshine city, something like that, similar to Aurora. But today we are joined by the interim chairperson of ZCUSA, Mr. Dickson Maiden. Welcome, Mr. Maiden. I don't know if you can hear me. Yes and no.
Yes, I can hear you. How are you today?
You know what's funny? I cannot hear you. That is the weirdest thing
okay.
ever.
Can you hear me now?
That is the weirdest thing. Can you hear me though?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. This is ridiculous. Can you hear me? 1 2 testing? Yes, no. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, now I can hear you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Mr. Maiden, do you want to say something? Wait.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Oh, perfect. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. I definitely can hear you. Okay, so I had to fine-tune some stuff here. But anyway, Mr. Maiden, thank you so much for coming through today on After5Radio. We're so excited to have you here as we dive into the revival of the Zimbabwean Cultural Society of Alberta, clearing up some community questions and exploring what is renewed what a renewed momentum this is for the Zimbabweans across the province. So be it, I actually didn't even, I thought ZCUSA was like an Edmonton focused type of organization. Just tell us more about ZCUSA before we dive right into the questions that we have for you.
Well, ZCUSA is all for Alberta, all Zimbabweans in Alberta, and I think that over the years, the founding members were based out of Edmonton, so that's why a lot of people think that it was just an Edmonton thing. But actually, we support all Zimbabweans across Alberta, and we think that we have to empower one another. So so we are everywhere. And the revival for ZCUSA, it's one of those things whereby ZCUSA was not on the map for a while because social media and all of that. And now we come out, we're like, you know what, we need change, and that's why we are here.
Awesome. So why the silence for quite a bit before we get into the revival of it? Because I feel like for a long time, especially like the Zim organizations, not just ZCUSA, because even we have one here in Calgary that also just got resuscitated. We're trying to resuscitate it. So why all of a sudden, like as in why was it silent for quite a bit? What was do you have an idea, or for you to eventually take over and decide, okay, I want to run for this? Why was it quiet before?
Well, to my thought, I think that a lot of people had lost hope because there was less community engagement, and the thing that, like, when you have less people believe in something, it becomes less, right? So I think that's why. And the thing is that no one really heard about ZCUSA before, and people knew there was a ZCUSA, and they didn't understand, and they didn't understand what was it for, and why should we have a Zimbabwean organization in Alberta? So I think there was a lot of quietness, and things were happening in the background, and they were not giving themselves enough exposure to be known out there.
Right. So how long has ZCUSA been there? Do you have an idea of the history when it was?
The history, it was started back in the day, about 10 to 15 years ago, to be honest. When I moved to Alberta, I knew about ZCUSA, which was in 2010. And it was just more of a community organization, come together, know the other Zimbabweans, how can we inspire each other. So the founding members started it, to have the pillar to support one another. And it was actually with, they used to do a lot of funeral gatherings, a lot of helping when something happens in the community. But it was on a smaller scale. But then other chairpersons which came through, some decided to elevate it, some decided to do whatever they were doing. But I think as a younger generation, this is something we should build for our kids, for generations to come.
Oh, absolutely. That is awesome. So what then inspired the sudden resuscitation of the organization, and why now?
Why now? I love that. I love that.
I know, right?
That's a great question.
Simple and straightforward.
Why now? So honestly, I've been part of ZCUSA for the last 3 years, mentoring and coaching, and ZCUSA is running one of the amazing initiative in Alberta, where we're supporting over 200 to 300 Black youth, right? And what happened is that when we got this initiative, a lot of youth were actually impressed and inspired to do something, because we have the stigma in our community with Black youth not be able to get whether funding in terms of entrepreneurship, and then the community. What I found is that we have so many Zimbabweans in Alberta, and we're all scarce. We're all in different little groups and everything like that. And when I came through, I was like, you know what, this is something which we can actually come together and build, because I see other communities. I was in Calgary 2 weeks ago, and I went to Calgary event, to a Nigerian event, which was for youth, and I saw the engagement. I'm like, wow, they even have a Nigerian hall. They even have their own the city hall, right? And when we look at that, we say, well, Zimbabweans, we are one of the most educated community in the world, right? And we are one of the smartest one. But at the end of the day, for some reason, I don't know what it is with our blood, but we are always divided, and we're always trying to put down one another. But when we live in this amazing country, we want to figure out what is it that we need to do to bring everybody together. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's awesome. And I just caught on the part where you said you've been part of it for the last 3 years with the program, which with the youth program that you're talking about, which we're definitely going to dive into it. But with that being said, earlier on you mentioned that it was quiet because people had no hope. So in those last 3 years, how then was there a program when people were not aware about it, or were not aware of what's happening? And which was it, the Zim community of the youth that were part of the program, or was it just Black youth within the African, community?
Yeah, so it was Black youth. So the program is for Black youth, not only Zimbabweans.
Not just okay.
Yeah. What happens is that when you market things on social media, this is what I heard from a lot of Zimbabwean youth, which I actually sat down and spoke with and speak with, and asked them, how come you guys never really wanted to apply for grants and all of that? And the thing is that they were scared. They didn't know what to do, because they were like, well, is this even true that organization which is giving money to start some business, entrepreneurship, or community initiative? And the other thing is that there were a lot of misinformation, right, in the community, that they didn't know what was happening. So a lot of people just had their own information in their own head, and they didn't want to be part of ZCUSA, but at the same time, they still want to benefit. But we had to come out and say, no, you have to be part of it, and you have to be able to build it as a person, because we're all Zimbabweans. If we are getting great initiatives from the government, our people should be the first step to benefit before everybody else, because we are the one who's running the program. So I think our people should know that information firsthand and be able to get their kids to dive in and be part of this amazing journey.
Right. But yay. Okay. I don't know who just put a thumbs up, but yeah. Sorry, I was just laughing. Yeah. But Oh, okay. Yeah, it does make sense, especially if you're the ones who are actually running it. Of course, you want your people first dibs, right? But then
Exactly.
again, the fact that they were quiet for ZCUSA was quiet for too long, it kind of makes people feel skeptical about it and what have you, right?
Yeah.
But I also, because what's even funny, I was even shocked. My cousin, he's 19, 18, 19, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we know about the youth program." I'm like, what youth program? Like, because I had the background, but then I wanted to hear for somebody who was born, raised here. Like, how
Yeah.
did you know about it and what have
Mhm.
you? So it's a good initiative, and I just hope it's still going on and
It
going to
is.
continue going on. And what exactly is it about the program that made ZCUSA say, okay, we want to stand up for the youth from nowhere
Mhm.
after being so quiet? After you understand, just being quiet, and then you're like, oh, okay, we're going to apply for a grant. Like, how did that come about? And then eventually focusing on the youth, because definitely I would understand why the youth would not believe it, because the organization has been quiet. So
Yes.
how true is it? How well marketed was it? How much information was out there for them?
Okay. I love that question. So
Mhm.
what normally happens in a non-profit organization is that
Mhm.
they have grant writers. So
Right. Yeah.
I respect the old board for putting us on the map, right? For doing that.
Yeah.
And what happens is that when you have a non-profit organization, you have people who write grants, and you look at grants which can fit your organization, and you apply it,
Mm.
and the government can say yes or no. For example,
Yeah.
African Center is big, and it
Yeah.
does a lot of events.
They're amazing. Yeah.
When they did apply for, it's not a grant initiative, so it's a contract between ZCUSA and the government. So then they, like, how it works, it's not like the money is for ZCUSA to do whatever they like. It's just a contract
Mm.
between the government to distribute funds for the government to the youth to
Mm.
fulfill that obligation for that program. So the
Right.
government, back in the day, they came up with, there's a lot of organization which went up front, including African Center, that our black youth are not being represented, and we want to literally figure out a way to inspire them,
Mm.
remove them from the
True.
streets, making sure that they have something to look up for.
Yeah.
And the thing is that which came in play was, well, we don't even have funding for these kids to be able to even
Mm.
start anything. If they want to venture into like music to inspire, let's say someone want to be a musician, they can come up with enough money to get studio equipment to do all of that. And I know there's a lot
Mm.
of in my generation, when we came here, we have a lot of people who are inspired to do something, but they had to actually go to work, save some money, start their hustle, right?
Yeah.
To be able to start something for themselves. So we
Mm.
said, okay, you know what? How can we then help our black youth? So the
Mm.
government came and said, you know what? We're gonna give you guys a trial error to see if you can even do something with this, right?
Mm.
So the first one was, I think, like $500,000 or something like that to give away to youth. And what happened is that the program was good. And yes, we had a lot of pushback with our African Zimbabwean youth. They were skeptical. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to apply. So the thing is this: when we have someone from 15 to 30 years to
Mm.
literally have a business proposal, apply for granting, get approval, right? It kind of gives them a mindset of entrepreneurship. When you get older, you can literally do the same thing when you're applying for funding for your business.
Mm.
So that's what happened. And the government was like, you know what, you guys literally did good. Can we extend this for a couple of years? That way you guys continue doing that, right? And that's where we're like, okay, you know what? This is a great initiative. And this is something where our community should actually be behind, and to be able
Mm.
to stand behind and say, okay, how can we then build from the same momentum we were given to expand it to our community so that every single person can benefit and
Mm.
um, can continue to thrive.
Right.
Yeah.
This is quite exciting, because I am so glad that we're focusing that's the whole purpose, right? When people start whatever it is that they start, they do it for future generations to come, right? It's not just about us. We do it for the younger generation. And that is awesome that what ZCUSA is doing. So for those who may not even be familiar, going back to the organization, because we're going to be going back and forth, I guess, maybe with a whole lot, right? You know, when I hear something, so that I don't forget, I just dive into that and forget, like, and then kind of detour, you know, into exactly what we're talking about then. But for those who may not be familiar with the organization, what is the vision now that the organization has been revived or trying to be revived? What is the vision, the overall goal of ZCUSA today? You know, because now there's membership, there's people who are now interested in it and what have you. How do you see it serving the Zimbabwean community in Alberta? And before we answer that question, we got comments from Eugene. Eugene, thank you so much for tuning in. In the future, he says, in the future, we would want to see buildings, offices, and physical spaces, please. And because we've seen organizations that started way after ZCUSA. I can tell you that are just 3 years old, and they already have spaces, buildings, and what have you. There's so many like women organizations in Edmonton that I know that I've worked with before. And you know, I understand where Eugene is coming from and hopefully going, because Eugene and I are actually part of the organization here in Calgary. And Eugene, we too here in Calgary will get there. So the grant is a standalone thing, with its own team from day-to-day ZCUSA functions. Okay, so we'll come back to that question. Let's hold that thought. But just to give a vision of ZCUSA, and then, like I said, it's going to be a back and forth, and then definitely I'm sure people are going to be coming through as well, having these questions. Because remember, it's like, I may not have all the questions, because if people chime in and then hear what they have to say, they can even just ask whatever it is that they need clarity on, right?
Exactly.
So yeah. So just to go back, the question again is, for those who may not be familiar, what is the vision and overall goal of ZCUSA today, now that it's been resuscitated? And how do you see it serving the Zimbabwean community in Alberta?
So my vision as a leader, you know, and as ZCUSA with my board, is that we want to bring the Zimbabwean community together. We want to bring the events we were doing back. We want to make sure that we have a lot of people who are doing smaller events. And us as ZCUSA, as a community, how can we then come together and make that bigger and expand that vision for everybody?
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of women, men, who are actually doing businesses, who are having different entrepreneur skills and all of that. How can we then make sure that their voices are heard? How can we make sure that they stand out in the community and they can actually go out there and say, you know what, I have something I want to do. Can the organization back me up to be able to bring this vision to life? And when we look at that, we have so many entrepreneurs in our space. I'm saying from Zimbabwe, who are doing amazing things in the community already. So how can we then expand that to make sure that our kids, their kids, can be able to see the vision, benefit from it, and then expand from it? So that's the main kind of vision right now. And to be able to bring everybody together through events, you're going to see a lot of events are going to be running, and we're going to do our best. We know that as a non-profit organization, people can say, you guys got a lot of money, but the money is not for events. It's not for us to do events. We, as a community, as you said before, you said you've seen a lot of communities, a lot of people who have their organization who started way after ZCUSA, who are thriving. The reason for that is because those communities are together. If we come in together and say, hey, this is what we want to do, if we have a lot of hands in the play, we can actually accomplish a lot than having 3, 4, 5 people doing something. So we want to say, you know, when you do something, Amanda, we want to be able to say, okay, how can we then help you to let that word out, be there for you, to make sure that you succeed? Because what's going to happen is that it's going to give us a ripple effect that this is the standard we are setting as an organization for the people who are going to come to lead, right? Because I'm not here for 10, 20 years. I'm here to set a standard that this is what we're supposed to be doing as a community, so that the leaders who are coming after me, right, they can be able to have that standard and say, hey, Dickson did A, B, C, D. How can we then expand and look at our vision and say, okay, we can do more, right? And I know that there are leaders who can do better than I can do, and they're coming, and our kids are coming, and we should be able to give them, pave a way and say, this is what we want. So I don't know if I
As you can see, I have a smirk on my face because you said something that made me just come up with a question in my head. It's a silly question.
I love that.
No, the silly question is, you said, I'm not going to be here for the next 10, 20 years or 15 years in this position, what have. Is it not what we used to, where we're having like people in power forever, like for over the... That's why I said it's a stupid one, don't mind me.
No, I love that, right? Because,
because
a lot of people, they think that power is something you have to hold on to, right? That no, you don't have to hold on to power. You must be able to evolve and thrive and be able to pave a way for other people to say, look, I did this and I'm moving on. Maybe I have other bigger things I'm going to pursue, but I want to make sure that as long as my name is on this organization, we can say, hey, you know what? In the times of Dickson Maiden, he did ABCD, and we can actually do it on that.
Right. And then another thing that I touched, that you mentioned, you said we part of your vision is to help people within the community who have businesses or what have you, just to support them and what have you. So does this mean just people in the community in general, or this is where we come in with the membership, or how? Now let's tie that into it. What kind of people are being supported? And then we're going to dive into, okay, there's a membership. What does this membership cover? Or why do we even have a membership if it's a not-for-profit and what have you? Because so many questions will be coming up, right? It's like, okay, long back, I remember, I think it must have been $25 a year, if I remember well, where we would pay for $25 a year. And like you said, there were so many packs for it, right? If you're part of the membership. But then all of a sudden we hear a hike to $150, and then you hear a decrease to $100. So like, it's so many questions that come up and with the statement of, oh, okay, we're also here to help people thrive and just support them and stuff like that. So which people do you support to begin with? And then we get into the membership.
So the membership, it comes with, when ZCUSA was formed by the founding members, there was a $25 membership. So it's, when you look at the nonprofit organizations, there are different standards which they are set by the Law Society of Alberta. So basically, what happens with ZCUSA is that it was set on a membership basis, because the membership will help the community to do events and all of that before the grants, because the grants are not guaranteed. But for you to be able to be part of something, you must have skin in the game. What do I mean by this? You must contribute. Does that make sense? That contribution goes a long way from, whether there's a tragedy in the community, whether there's an event we need to do. Yes, we can apply for grants, we can get sponsorship from other places and whatever, but we need to have a solid foundation to make sure, okay, in 2025, if we look at $25 today, what can you do with $25, right? Even if we pull up 100 people, $25, that's what, 2,500, right? So what happens is that when you're doing an event, we all know, if you ask anybody who have ever organized the event, that there's a lot of phantom cost which comes with that, which the organization has to eat, right? To make sure that goes as planned. So the membership thing is that we're still talking about it, because it was set to $100 to be able to get people coming in, sponsor some events. And the reason why it was so dead back in the day is because no one was paying any membership. And if I can tell you the stats, before we actually ran for elections, there was about 10 paid members into ZCUSA. So if you do,
but then again, because people had lost hope, right? Because there was nothing visible for them to still hold on to it, right? Because there wasn't even anything that was happening. And even rumor has it that even some meetings, people were no longer coming, right? And hence the reason why they stopped. But anyway, sorry to cut you off.
Exactly. So after the election, after we started looking at the strategies and ideas, what do we need to do? I can tell you this: we went from 16 10 to 16 members to almost 50 members, right? So what does it mean? It means that our Zimbabwean community, they have hope, they want us to succeed, they want to be part of something from their own country. And when we did a fundraiser last week, we did a fundraiser. I know you probably know about the accident which happened in BC. And ZCUSA came with the guys who organized the event, with Kamduze. Kamduze has been doing their own events in Edmonton, cooking and music in the park. We partnered up with them. And the feedback I got from that was, one lady literally told me, I just wish sometimes I have a place to go and speak Shona and Ndebele to my people. I would like that community engagement, even if I have to pay $10 for my plate of food or whatever that is. But that reminds me of back home, because sometimes I'm working, and I feel isolated because I just have a little bit of circle of friends. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, we have so many people in the community who want events. We used to do soccer events. We used to do different events.
A lot of it, yeah. And even just in the barbecue weekends every Sunday, volleyball, you name it. Look at TC. Hi, TC. TC was one of the, people who would organize so many events like within the community, other than just part of ZCUSA, right? Where, we used to go to lakes and what have you, it was just having that almost every weekend, right? And it does make sense. Like when people say we miss that.
Exactly. So when we have an organization and saying, look, we can revive this thing. We can come together, and it's not a one man show. It's every single person. Can we put our differences aside and actually build something bigger than ourselves? That's what we're looking for. And whether I hear, I've been bashed in groups and all of that. And for me, as a leader, it's not something which bothers me. But what I want to do is that it doesn't really matter what political party you support, or what soccer team you support, or what hockey team you support. We are from Zimbabwe. And when we are here, we have to be able to put those differences aside and build something which can continue our legacies. You get what I mean? So that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I'm hoping to achieve,
So why the figure though? Like why? No, not even just the current $100. So why the bump from? I totally understand. Maybe the bump could have been to be able to lift the organization up again. I get it, but then again, questions come and from people, right, to say, so does it mean it's for people who are already established in Canada? Because think about the newcomers, right? Not all of them will be able to afford the $150 or $100 and what have you. But then, so how was the figure, decided? Because think about, there's still other communities. I think this week something was posted in the Calgary group, where there's another organization, and they were saying for you to be a part of it, the membership fee is about $30 per year. And I was like, oh, okay. So $30 is still actually helping other organizations to at least survive or keep moving. So who decided on the figure? Why the figure? Why, how is that going to be moving forward?
So we're still working on the numbers, because we're literally doing some surveys in the community to see, because the figure was decided by the membership, which was when the annual meeting was held last year. So there was no part of me. So basically, that came up because even if the membership was $25 back in the day, there was no membership. No one was willing to pay, right?
Right.
And the other thing you got to think about is that you don't have to pay a membership to be part of ZCUSA. So it's not like you must pay something. Yeah.
Sorry. You already know. So no. So this is another thing to hold your thought.
Okay.
There was a meeting that was done last year, because I remember a lot of people were asking. This is why we're actually having this sitting right now. They're like, how come I didn't get an email? How come I didn't? Did you also get an email? Because I also used to be part of ZCUSA, and I used to also, even up until now, I still got emails, even after not being active, right? So I also kept getting messages to say, oh, did you receive an email? How come they're saying they had an annual meeting, yet I didn't get the annual meeting? So when was the annual meeting? When was, because this is where all the questions come in. It's like, how come we didn't know about this? How come we didn't know about that, right? So last year, when it was decided by the previous board to say, okay, we're going to jump it to 100, 150, what have you, how then was that figure decided on? Because you coming in and campaigning as the chairperson, or and then eventually having the interim board right now, these questions should have been questions that you ask, right, as the leader who wants to know how best to move forward from the situation that was there.
Exactly. I love that, because what's happening right now is we're still in the transition period, right? Because it's been almost a month, 26 days to be exact, right?
I know, I can imagine the pressure for you to even know the number of days. I like that.
Exact, right? And I'll tell you this. When I came through, it was one of those things where in my own mind, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this and this and this and this, and this is the plan I'm looking to do. I'm gonna sit down with my board, I'm gonna do a lot of things. And then everything happens, and then you get 3 million messages. This person wants this, this person wants that. It's like, wait a minute, guys. I don't even have all the answers you guys are looking for, because I'm still trying to look for answers as well. So as a leader, I have to do my due diligence to be able to understand what's really happening in the organization. And my board has been working 24/7, right? We had a couple meetings. We had court orders. We had.
Are you kidding?
We have court orders, which we.
How do we get to court orders?
We have like I'm saying, right? This is where you guys have to understand is that ZCUSA, for me as a chairperson, I'm not a paid. I'm a volunteer. Do you understand?
Right.
I'm a volunteer to do something amazing with the community, which means I have my own life too. I have to literally figure out and do what I do for a living. But we want to put ZCUSA on the map. We want to figure out why people did not get all those messages. Why was the meeting held without every membership, which was a paid member? And those are the questions. As a board, we're actually going back and trying to figure out how can we do better, right? Because we are here now, and whether we're here for the year or we're here for maybe the membership will be like, hey, Dickson, we want you guys to go for the next term, whatever the case may be. That's neither here or there. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to set a core and build up from the ground, because, as you know, no one was talking about ZCUSA before 26 days ago, right? And after that, there was a light, right? And we have to keep the fire blazing, whether there are people who are criticizing us, whether there are people who think that we're not fit to be able to take this organization further. That's neither who are there, but we need to bring every single person on board. So whether you are a paid member, whether you want to be part of ZCUSA, so ZCUSA, when we say paid member, it just means that you have voting rights, you got member benefits. So
gotcha.
Okay. So for example, let's say we want to make a decision for the organization. You as a member, you can vote on those decisions, yes or no. So whether you don't have the $100, we still have to sit down and figure out what's the best way of structuring this. And the amazing thing is this: we as a board, we don't make decisions. The membership does. So when we suggest something, we have to come and sit down the member and say, this is what we're thinking of doing on this organization. You guys say yes or no. If you guys say no, we can't make that change because you guys don't want, because you're the paid member. So that's how it actually works. So whether you are paying or you don't pay, we still want you to come out. We still want you to come out and be part of, whether volunteering, be part of something. What happens is that we need to build the trust first. So we need the community to actually say, hey, you know what? This is an organization which I want to be part of, because we see what they're trying to do. So, so the membership is only for a couple of things when you own a nonprofit organization. So when you have a membership, because of the law from Alberta society, there are privacy issues, right? There are financial issues which need to be disclosed to the membership. And because of that, for you to get that, you need to be able to be a member, because we're actually saying that person A, B, C, D paid their membership. And because of that, they need certain financial information. They need certain information about the organization. We as a board, we're obligated to give them, but not on a one-to-one basis, because if you just like one person comes at one day, it doesn't work. That's not how But when we set a meeting and say, everybody come together, we're going to discuss topics A, B, C, D, then you can ask all your questions and voice everything at that point. So that's how a non-profit organization should be working. It should not be working on an individual basis where someone will be like, well, I need to know who got the grant. That's private information. I cannot give you that. There's privacy issues we're dealing with. There's sensitive issues. So that's what we have to understand too.
Which actually now brings us to Banger's question that with Banger's question, which says the grant is the grant a standalone thing with its own team from day-to-day ZCUSA functions, or
the youth initiative, it's not a grant.
Because like you said, some people would be asking, oh yeah, who applied for the grant? And like you're saying, that's privacy, right, for the organization or what have you. So
how it works is this. It's just for example, right? So I'm going to give you guys a really good example. ZCUSA, it's a community-based organization.
Yes.
The government comes and say, I want to partner up with ZCUSA, right, to be able to initiate this program. So the government comes with their own set of rules, stipulations, budgets, everything has to happen. It comes from the government. It doesn't come from ZCUSA. ZCUSA doesn't have any hand in that. So what happens is that...
would this actually be like ZCUSA being the middleman, similar to how Africa Center was? Because we also had a program with Africa Center where they were the middlemen with the government.
Exactly. So this initiative, and I sat with the government and I literally asked all those questions. And one of the questions that I asked the government, I was like, well, so how can ZCUSA benefit? Because ZCUSA is not getting anything. So why am I doing this? And they were like, well, you're getting exposure. You're getting to help your people. You're getting to do this. So it's just, ZCUSA is like a bridge, if you know what I mean.
The
middleman, like you said. So we have, the government have to do their own due diligence, pick their people who are supposed to be coordinators and all of that. The government is the one which picks the salaries. I don't even see that myself as a chairperson. Why? Because that's a private issue between the government and their people. All we just have to make sure is that we promote the organization. We make sure that our youth knows about it. We make sure that they can be exposed to all the stuff, all the amazing stuff happening there, right? So we just oversee everything to make sure everything is being done right. But in terms of the funding, ZCUSA doesn't have $1 million to use in community. ZCUSA is, if in layman's terms, it's broke. I'll tell you that. So
okay, I get you.
Exactly.
And I bet the government was asking, well, no, not knowing who would have initiated the conversations for this initiative to happen, but were there no talks of how would you be a part of this program if you have no funding at all? And how are you surviving as an organization? Because there were no membership, because there was no membership and such stuff like that, right? And then eventually get this grant, because this was where the confusion eventually comes in, right? To say there was no membership, but how then? And then, everybody, when people hear money, everybody wants dibs. Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know yet, but
So I love that. So what happens is that, like I said, when you're applying for grants, initiative, all of these things, the government will come and be like, you know what? We're going to give you the benefit of the doubt. We know you're small.
As broke as you are.
As broke as you. It's just like B lenders will come and be like, you know what? I think you're a good person.
You have potential.
I love your personality. I love that. Right? So basically, with that is that they trusted them with a small amount of money.
Yeah,
that's what happened in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what? We know you've been trying to do something. We know you tried. So because we know you tried, We're going to try to give you something and see if you can even handle it. Do you understand? But then
why a huge amount though?
Because
why trust a quiet person that's been quiet in the game for quite a bit to say, okay, I'm gonna try and give you the benefit of the doubt because I feel like you were a good person and I feel like we can work together with such an amount?
Because this is where we say they were good at their books, they were good at a lot of things
Right.
to make sure that everything is right on the smaller scale, right? So someone might be earning $2,000 a month and they're really good at their money budgeting. And you look at the potential, you're like, you know what? If I give this person $1 million or $10 million, they potentially can be able to manage it because they could manage a small amount of money. So what happens is that when you get the benefit of the doubt, this is where an organization has to wake up, be like, okay, now we're number 8 in Alberta, in all the organization Alberta to be trusted by the government. Do you understand? Number 8. Okay. So which we're in the top 10. You know, we cannot even measure ourselves with African Center. Those guys are big, right?
Oh, absolutely. And they've been there for longer.
When you look at that, now this is what happens. Our resume is now better because when we go apply for other grants, we can say we are trusted by the government to handle such amount of money. When you look, even yourself, if you go work for a bigger corporation and you go apply for another job and they see that name of that corporation on the resume, they'll be like, oh, okay, tell us about this. You get what I mean? So that's going to literally make other people say, you know what? That's credibility. Our credibility is so good right now that if we actually build on the same momentum, our community would be the number one community to be recognized by a lot of organizations to be the go-to. But the only thing we need to fix now is the community, the people, everybody. How can we come together so that when somebody in the community throw an event, people are showing up for those people. People are coming. And now we can say, if you throw an event, we know 1,000 people are showing up because we are united. That's what we're looking for. So that's why there's that where the government literally trusted ZCUSA to say, well, you know what? We'll give you the benefit of the doubt, right? Let's try you out, right? And they did an amazing job. Yeah, you know what? When you have a first initiative, I'm not saying everything is going to be perfect. You're going to mess up. You're going to do a lot of things. You're going to have to put everything together. But this is a time where we need to get in the seat of the vehicle, learn how to drive it properly, get to the next destination so that the next person can take over. Does it make sense?
Right. Yeah. No. I totally get you, and I hope that this actually clears the air with within the community, as per se, so people can be also supportive and then come together eventually. And I'm sure people are actually coming together now that there's now progress and stuff like that. But then, so as we move forward to leadership and structure, having you as the interim leader right now, so there's currently an interim board in place. So can you actually walk us through why that decision was made, rather than having like a full-on couple of years term, and what the structure looks like going forward?
So what happened was, when there was elections, there was a couple members who passed a motion, right? That they were not happy with how ZCUSA was going, and they didn't want to look into a board because we still have to build trust in the community.
Absolutely,
we have a lot of work to do as a board, right? So when you have to build trust, you need to have some trial run for people to actually realize that you are the man. You are the man of the job, right?
Absolutely.
You can do the job. So basically what they did was they were like, you know what, instead of, because I know there's a lot of people who are not happy, so for us to be able to bridge the gap, right, why can't we pick a board, right, which can actually bring leadership and structure? And then we can revisit this conversation in a year time and say, okay, what have you guys find out? What have you guys done? And what do you guys think we should do as an organization? When we have that, we have a lot of work to do, and my board is working tirelessly. Like we're just cracking our heads, like, what is it that we need to do, right? But I love that because now we get a time to actually prove ourselves to the people, to the members, that this is what we need to do. Based on our track record for the next 9 months, because 26 days already, we have done.
Before we start running again.
Huh?
Before we start running elections again.
Exactly. So we have 9 months, right? For people like even you, Amanda, if you decide, like, you know what, I love how we did, maybe I'm going to run for leadership. Guess what? We need that, because we need to be able to get more people in and say, okay, what's your point of view? What do you want to build? How do you want to do it? And how can we do it together? You get what I mean? So for me, when I heard that it was 1 year, to be honest, I was actually relieved, because I was like, man, a 2-year commitment dealing with this, you know? And I was like, you know what? I'm happy to help my community. I'm really down to help them. But I have to make sure that we can actually build something solid together. And
but then a year, don't you think it's too much pressure, because it's short, right? To have your ducks in a row and prove yourself, to say, you know what, we can do this and we can make this organization self-sustaining if possible, or what have you. Like, is it not too much pressure compared to, say, if you been given 2 years or 3 years?
No. So what I think is that if you can work under pressure, you can be a great leader. So I in my own personal life, my own personal life, I deal with pressure and I deal with a lot of things. So what happens is this: when you get a smaller run, your mind expands to figure out how can you make the most impact in the short time or period.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I know that already. I'm running. I'm not running a relay. I'm running a marathon. I'm literally like 100 meters, right? And I have to make the most impact in that 100 or 200 meters I'm doing. So that alone is a good thing, because it will make us not relax. It will make my board always on top of things. Like, hey, we need to do this now. So that creates urgency. There's urgency. There's momentum. When there's momentum, you can continue to build.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now we have the time to say, okay, 1 year is great, or 9 months, 26 days, who's counting, right?
I know.
Right? Who's counting, right? I mean, that will give us such a vision to say, how can we expand our minds to be able to say, what is more important right now? What is not important? What's not important is to be backing at each other in chats. What's important is to build the community. What's important is to bring people together. What's important is to be able to act when there's a tragedy in the community.
That's true.
That's important.
Yeah.
So we need to figure out those important things and say, let's take action on them.
Okay.
So I think the year is amazing. I love that.
We look forward to it. And it was quite interesting when I saw you running. I was like, huh?
A lot of people were actually calling me and say, like, are you serious?
Are you kidding me?
And I'll ask you a question. What was your thoughts? What was your thoughts?
My thought was like, what is going on? That was the question, like, what is going on? Because I don't know. I think for me, it's one of those where I know you have your own businesses on the side, which is okay. And then I'm thinking, okay, is this not more pressure? Considering the drama that was behind it, the noise that was behind it, the court orders and all that fun stuff. And I'm like, why Dickson all of a sudden? Why? Like, because it was just from nowhere. Oh yeah, vote for me, ZCUSA president. At first I thought it was a joke, actually. I thought it was a joke. Like, this is just a prank. Because remember, we used to do skits, yo.
Exactly.
I'm thinking this is a prank. No, Dickson is just he's being a clown. And people are like, no, actually he is running. And I think you should too. I'm like, excuse me? I thought ZCUSA was an Edmonton thing. They're like, no, it's Alberta. Like, you should, because you're so, and I was like, nah, I'm too for ZCUSA, you understand?
Yeah.
Because keeping in mind, I don't know, I feel like, just talking to you right now, I actually think they sort of did, they did a good decision. That was a good decision. Unfortunately, I wasn't there for it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, our community needs patience. You understand? Yeah, it needs patience, and until we get to a place where we come together on a transparent level, if I should put it that way, right? Because there's so many, this is why I'm like, there's so many unanswered questions out there, because there's so many questions or people just creating stuff. Because even after putting out this interview, I was even told, oh yeah, Amanda is related to the former president. I'm like, huh? Which Amanda are we talking about? So you think people will start creating stuff. Guys, do you even have stuff to do in life? Like, where did this come from? It's an interview that a lot of people had asked for, but then at the same time, like you said, you find other people who have just negative mindsets from it to say, oh, why this interview? Oh, is Amanda not related to the former president? Okay, like, it's okay, right? But then again, keep going. And you're patient, and I like that. So I think they did a good selection. As for now, we will see as we go. Like we said, it's just 26 days.
Exactly. And the thing is that, right? It's one of those things where, when you look at an organization, so this is what made my decision to even say, you know what, I'm going to run, right? The decision came from, I was looking at the noise. I was looking at what's happening in the community, and I was like, man.
So you love noise?
No. I said I was looking at the noise. I don't love noise. I was looking at the noise, and I was like, it's so disturbing that we are one of the most educated community, right? The Zimbabweans are the most educated people I have met in my life. And if we can actually have structure and actually have to sit down and say, hey, look, what is it that we need to pour into one another so that you can grow, so that I can grow, so that the next person can grow, right? And build this thing to the point where the culture and the momentum does by itself. We have seen other organizations doing the same thing. And we know that there are people who are loud. There are people who just want to cause chaos. There are people who are negative. And you're going to have that when you're working with people. I work with people all day, right? I'm in finance. I work with people all day. So I've seen the different characters of people. So there are people who just want to come with their negativity. But how do you then shut out that noise? It's by you stick to the vision, to the goal, to say this is what we want to accomplish. If we can stick to that and continue building on that, guess what? All the noise will be shut out. All the noise will be gone. So that's why I decided. That was my actual deciding factor. And the other thing was, we got so much amazing things which are happening within the organization, right? How can we make sure more people can actually know about this? More people in our community can actually come in and apply for this, and literally making sure, because I know there are people in my community where kids are moving out from houses young. They are literally doing drugs. They're literally on the streets. They're literally...
And also actually getting arrested.
Exactly, right? They're going to jail. They're doing all these things. If we can come together as a community and say, look, we have an organization. We have a foundation which can have mentors, right? You yourself, you've been through thick and thin, your own downfalls, your own upside downs, your own things. And there are people who are trying to follow your path, who can be actually heard your story, and you can become that mentor. You can become that bridge to say, look, I've done this and it didn't work for me, or it did work for me, or this is what I can do. And those people, actually, we can save them so much time to go through the same thing we went through, right? We came here, we didn't have funding. We didn't have someone coming to say, Amanda, you want to do a show, you want to do something, here's $5,000, go try it. If you fail, come back, I'll give you another $5,000. Imagine if you had that. How further would you be?
Of course, you would have been somewhere else.
We have that now. And I know a lot of elders and a lot of some people are not happy because they want to be the people to do that. But we cannot hold on, our blood. Like I said before, we hold on to these positions. We want leadership. We want power. But that's not how this is going to work. We need to say, Amanda, come lead, because we know that you got this strength. And a lot of women are looking forward to actually have you as a leader. How can we make sure that that can come to reality? How can we make sure that your events or your things you're throwing can come to light? How can we make sure that a lot of people are interested, right, in actually building with you, not trying to put you down? Does it make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, it does. And I'm just hoping that people are taking note of all this, because definitely we're going to be putting, by the way, we're going to be putting here's the link for people to get more information about ZCUSA and how best they can be a part of it, how, if you want to be a mentor, come through and put yourself in there. Because I remember when I completed the form, it was actually asking you your strengths in whatever voluntary field that you want to do and stuff like that, right? So I'm just hoping it'll actually make people come through and also be members of the organization, not for the benefits, but also to give back, right, to the community and to the younger generation. But also considering that people assume, well, I was one of those who actually assumed that ZCUSA was like an Edmonton-based organization, but then of course it said Alberta. But for some reason, I felt like it actually kind of just served Edmonton. So with that being said, knowing that we also have an organization here in Calgary, how does ZCUSA then differ from or plan to work alongside other groups like IOZIC? The organization is called IOZIC, Association of Zimbabweans in Calgary. Is there a way that people are going to collaborate, or how? I don't know if you've actually heard about IOZIC.
So I love that, because we are all Zimbabweans, and we want to make sure that we support one another. Yeah. Because you guys in Calgary, you have an organization and you're trying to build it, you're trying to all of those things. How can we then make sure that you guys can be the pillar of Calgary, and how can we make sure that we support you? For example, you guys are going to be throwing a lot of events, you're going to be doing a lot of things, and if ZCUSA can come and collaborate with you guys, and we, for example, I was even talking to Kamduze, right? If you need something from ZCUSA, let us know. We can figure out how we can come through, because over the years, ZCUSA have built a lot of partnerships, have built a lot of things. So there's some things where you'd be like, hey, guys, I'm looking to throw a party or to throw a community event. What can we do? We have a lot of places in Calgary which we worked with before, right? And those guys are willing to say, oh, you know what? We'll give you guys the event space to do your event and something like that. So we can come together. And literally, I know there's a lot of guys which come from Calgary to play soccer here.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So how can we then make sure that we expand that? We might have a soccer team in Calgary playing a soccer team in Edmonton, bring everybody together. So those are things where we're going to have to work together to actually make this thing work. It doesn't matter what organization you're from or whatever that is. It's all about how can we then work together and bridge that gap where a lot of people are saying, oh, I didn't even know about the Calgary Association, or I didn't even know about the Edmonton, or the ZCUSA in Alberta, whatever the case might be. And to expand on that as well, we are actually going to be working with other organizations in BC, Montreal, Toronto, because there are organizations there, so that we can bring everybody together, right?
Okay.
At some point,
Okay. Oh, wow. That's actually great, and opening it up to the rest of other Zimbabweans within Canada.
Yeah.
So, and then also, so when it comes to like programs and participation, right? What kind of events then, or cultural activities or educational programs can members expect this year? Considering that, of course, you're trying to, make an impact within a year. And I don't know if that's going to be possible to kind of prove to say, what, we also have activities which sometimes need to be applied for a year in advance, right? Exactly. So what should people expect this year within your reign?
So we're still talking on that. There's a lot of things we are throwing out to see what activities and programs we should actually bring. And the programs some of the programs comes from what grants we can be able to apply to actually be able to have the funding to do that, because we have to increase in our membership to be able to do like a bigger event. Like I said, you can do an event, you can plan an event all you want, but all the spaces and everything we need to rent, everything like that needs cash, right? So I think we will have like I'll have a clear picture on the events. Like I think something like a soccer tournament. We're thinking of golf. We're thinking of a gala where we can bring everybody together. So there's a lot of things we are throwing around to trying to figure out, okay, what exactly do we need to do, and what kind of influence do we have out there to be able to bring other people to partner with us so that we can be able to bring this to life. So we're working on that. For example, we have a lot of Zimbabwean business owners who are running businesses. How can those businesses be part of sponsorship in ZCUSA? Come out, we can sponsor them as well to be able to go out there and market themselves as well, right? So there's a lot of things we're actually talking about, and I'll have a clear picture, really soon, because 26 days, like we're dealing with.
Oh my gosh. And guess what? 26 days. Yeah, 26 days. It is indeed.
Exactly. So think about it, right? Like when you're throwing, it's like throwing someone in the fire in 26 days and be like, hey, is it burning or is it hot? Like, what is it? Be like, I'm still trying to figure out, like, is it hot or is it something I'm comfortable with, right?
Right. So, that is hot.
As much as I want to give you a lot of answers, I personally trying to get my footing in, trying to figure out what's going on, trying to figure out. We had a fundraiser, which was a great turnout, by the way, for the first fundraiser. People came to support. I love that. And that was a success. And my hope is that when we do something, when we plan the next event, I'm hoping that we can have a greater turnout of people to come out and support and see what, because there's a lot of new Zimbabweans which are actually in Canada, actually, and in Alberta, and we haven't even met those guys. So, and they're looking at, okay, where should I go? What should ZCUSA do? And how do they help them? So we're still trying to figure that out as well, to make sure that we have a clear path for every single person who's going to come. And to be able, I know even membership, people are literally complaining about their membership. How come I'm not in this group? I'm like, guys, I'm literally trying to figure out all these moving parts, right? And it's overwhelming, because remember, we're doing this as a volunteer, right? We're interim board volunteer. There's no compensation for ZCUSA chair or my board, right? We're doing this for our community. So everything is on volunteer basis. So which means that we have to actually coordinate with the board to see when they're off and when we can actually sit and talk about the community programs and problems in the community. So sometimes we're just like trying to get everybody together. And even when we do our meetings, we have to figure out how to get everybody in one place. And it's hard.
Absolutely. Because so then how do you encourage them, everywhere, like you mentioned?
Right.
Oh, sorry, I think we're chopping off. I think the network. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I kind of lost you there.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. Because I kind of lost you as well. So then how do you encourage you were talking about new Zimbabweans, and then there's people who've actually been a part of the community for the longest. How then do you plan on encouraging participation or re-engagement or re-engage Zimbabweans who may have become disconnected, as you mentioned earlier on, from the community organizations? How best can we bring them back into the community versus, new Zimbabweans who are like, oh yeah, at least I just came from Zim, I want to find my way around. And those people, it will be easy for them to come into ZCUSA, but then having to be quiet for quite a bit, and then having, all these issues, court orders and what have you, and people understanding the resuscitation and all these questions. How then do you plan on encouraging people, right? Because of course it's difficult to, I've also on my end been also trying to get people around me to say, guys, just join this, because, or even just the membership, because it actually helps grow the community and supporting each other in ABCD sense, right? So how do you plan on encouraging participation or re-engagement?
Well, events, right? Bringing people together, be able to communication, right? So we're getting great on communication to be able to have people voice their opinions. And events. We're going to promote. Hey, come out. Even if you're not a part of, even if you're not a member of ZCUSA or whatever, come out and chat and meet other people, socialize. That's how you're gonna open your doors in your personal life as well, because you're gonna meet people who are doing different things. So we're gonna promote that every single time, every single chance we get. We're gonna make sure that when we do events, everybody's gonna know about it. Even some of the groups we are being bashed or whatever, I go and post all those groups and whatever. I still get backlashes and everything. But the thing is that it's not about one person, it's about everybody. So no matter what anybody thinks or want or whatever the case may be, we need to come together as a community. That's the main goal for this 9 months, 26 days. So I'm gonna do it again, but I mean that's what we're going to do. So we will actually from the time we started, right? We're trying so hard to make sure we put people in one place. We kind of put news feeds everywhere. It's hard. But with technology, it's kind of getting easier because we use AI. We have a lot of things we can leverage right now to make sure that we're still building our team to actually figure out how we can best navigate the whole thing.
Okay. No, that is awesome. Which brings me to an interesting topic. So we can hush the rumors that are going about. Are you ready for this one? Here are the rumors going around. So let's talk about, the upcoming Heritage Festival. There's been some chatter in the community for quite a bit before. I think this would have been before this whole ZCUSA fiasco and what have you. Is it true that Zimbabwe, as we all know, the Heritage Festival is usually hosted in Edmonton, and ZCUSA has always taken the lead on that? So is it true that Zimbabwe will not be represented at this year's Heritage Festival in Edmonton because there's been some disappointing information that's speculating out there, and we thought we would ask, right?
Yeah.
On their behalf. Yeah.
So as far as I know, this is with the old board which was there. They're not in Heritage Festival this year, right? Because there was no funding, there was no money to be able to pay, because you have to pay an application fee to be there, right? Because like ZCUSA was not on the map and there was no funds to be able to do that. So basically what we're trying to do is that I'm still going down on that call, why we did not push it when we needed that. How come the community doesn't even know about it, that we were supposed to come together and make sure that Zimbabwe is at festival event? So I'm still getting on the bottom of that to be able to find out more information on that, to make sure how can we then change to make sure next year we are there, the next year we are there, we're never going to miss another one, because that's where we come in. To be honest, that's where we come in, because we need to fix these things. They're broken and we need to fix them. And we need to acknowledge them, that a lot of people are so disappointed because they were looking forward to go and actually enjoy the sadza or enjoy the fish or enjoy the Zimbabwean tradition. But this year, unfortunately, that's not the case.
So with that being said, then how long in advance is this supposed to be applied for? Because how then is this the first year that Zimbabwe is not going to have a stand? And in all the last couple of years that ZCUSA was quiet, how then were they surviving to host the Heritage Festival compared to this year? And also considering that there's now membership this year, how long in advance do we need to apply for us to have a stand?
So I'm setting up a meeting next week with the servers, the people who run that event, to be able to understand what exactly do we need to do, because preparation is key, right? We must know what we need to do. And honestly, from what I heard, right, it's only 26 days. I'm not going to have all the answers for you today, but I mean, next I'll have more answers. So there's an application fee you need to do. And back in the day, there's some little grants ZCUSA used to apply for, and sometimes they get it, sometimes you don't. It's just a matter of applying it, and the people who are granting those grants, if they accept you, you get it. If they don't, tough luck. That's how it works. So when there's no community engagement and there's no money coming from membership, you as an organization, how do you then find the funds to be able to say, I have this much money sitting there to pay for this event. If there's no money, because remember the membership was $25. How many Zimbabweans do we need to? If let's say the fee is $3,000 or $4,000.
Yeah.
If we take all the membership and pay for that, right? How many Zimbabweans do we need to source out to have that, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we're going to talk about membership as well. Figure out, okay, what's the best way to have, like, how much do we need to actually have as a membership, and how much do we need to actually put to make sure that we have money set aside to make sure all these things will happen in the near future. So it's just a structure issue, right? It's just a structure issue and a communication issue, where it wasn't communicated to the community. If it was communicated to the community and there was a bulletin out there, which I don't have myself, or you don't have, where it says, hey guys, we were not, we don't have the funds to be at Heritage. We have certain amount of days to raise this fund for us to be able to go there, whoever want to come through. And that was gonna show how the community is gonna respond to that. Because if you
but I think it's the same way the organization was resuscitated. I feel like it's the same way that personally ZCUSA could have handled the heritage situation.
And I'm with you there.
Yeah,
I'm with you there. And that's where, like I said, like that's the odd board, right? That's a question I won't be able to answer why it wasn't done and why they did not even think of that. I can answer that question for them, but those are some questions they, can ask. And I think it would be great if, for you, because you're running a show, right, to be able to bring them and say, hey, you know what happened? Because those are the questions people need answers to. And the new board, some of these questions we won't be able to answer them because we were not part of the decision making of those. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's something which I think it will be great to actually have that initiative and say, hey, let's talk about what went wrong. How can we fix this community? So that even us as a new a board can learn from those mistakes and do better. Because we all want to do better than we did yesterday. And
absolutely.
And we have to learn from our mistakes. Not that we want to criticize them and we want to put them against the wall, whatever the case may be. But in any endeavor, you're going to make decisions. And those decisions might be not good, but we still have to reflect on those decisions so that it can actually build us to be better. If you know what I mean.
Oh no, I totally get what you mean. And as we're about to conclude like today's interview, I know we're kind of running out of time. I mean, behind time. Can you also confirm, whether that traditional stand of ours at the Heritage Festival was actually sold? Because like we said, when people start rumors are the fastest to go around, right? And then you start hearing, oh yeah, it was sold or handed over to the Nigerian community. How is it like something that is even possible? Right? Before we even get to the rumors, is that even possible to be selling your own stand to another community, especially without community consultation or however way the process works?
No, you can't sell a stand. It's up to the people who are doing the event. They will literally say, hey, put in application for you to have a stand, and the application fee is this much. If you can't come up with the application fee, I'm sorry, you can be part of that. It's just like when you run an event and you have tables you're selling, like, I want you guys to come and get tables, and then people come pay their fee to get the table. How do you then go sell the table unless people are thinking that ZCUSA paid for the
That's
fee?
what I was about to say. What if people are thinking they paid and then eventually
so it was never paid? If it was paid, why would they give it away, right? So it doesn't make any sense.
No, because there wouldn't be anybody to be able to volunteer, considering that was before your board. People to volunteer, people to cook and perform and what have you. So that would be valid for people to ask to say.
And that would be valid if I was the standing chair back in the day, and let's say that was the case, right? I would be like, you know what? If you guys, I have the stand, and if there's no volunteers who are cooking, you guys are gonna come and sit and talk to me. and we talk about why we don't have food, why we're not
What if
eating.
you were going to sit and talk to yourself?
Exactly. So as I said, like, I'll be sitting there as a chair and be like, yeah, I'm here. Like, if they ask me a question why we don't have food, I'm like, why you didn't volunteer? That would be my question. You could, if you volunteered, we could be eating. But
exactly,
we're not eating. So I think every single person should be able to take responsibility of the organization, because you can't expect me to say I'm doing an event, then I'm like, I'm volunteering as well. I'm cooking. I'm being the DJ. No,
I'm performing.
I'm performing. So it's like, I might as well go start my own organization at that point, and just I can do everything. So like, honestly, it's not the case. It's people have to apply, and they have to put their fee, and they have to have the equipment to bring there, and then they have to whatever. And from what I heard, that most of the events, ZCUSA doesn't make any money from those events, right? So it's like people come by Saturday and whatever, and it just goes back to helping the volunteers, because they're putting in their time as well. They have to get time.
And what's even funny, I'm laughing. Sorry to cut you off. I'm just laughing at Lynn's emojis, because it just reminded us, Lynn, if you're still on, remember when we used to actually perform on the ZCUSA stage at the Heritage Festival as the youth? You understand, this is the one thing I feel so sorry for our youth today, where the fun we had as youth back then, and being excited, the excitement of being a part of the Heritage Festival. And all the videos, I think we still have the videos. I wish I had actually put them there. We have the videos, the pictures, and everything. We used to perform with C Jumps, where they're still known, as C Jumps the performer, and having it was one of those days. And we just hope that one day, hoping, like you said, you're going to bring the community together, the board together, and try and figure out how to move forward, especially with the Heritage Festival, because I feel like it's the highlight of what the organization does for the community, more than beyond just the events, right? The events that, like, what do you call it? The Japresa concert and a couple of events that will be coming, like the Independence and such, right? I feel like just the Heritage Festival was the biggest, and hence the so many questions that came through. Praying you guys are able to bridge the Yes, oh gosh, we had so much fun. The youth.
And the thing is that, like, this is where I'm gonna call out on all the youth who used to play on the ZCUSA stage back in the day.
No, they're no longer youth.
No, let me finish. Let me finish my statement. So I'm saying all the youth.
As you can see now, as you can see with the last name, it's no longer.
Exactly. So
it's no longer youth.
Yeah. So all the youth who used to play on the ZCUSA stage back in the day, you are now leaders. And the only way you can do, if you want to bring that back, you have to lead from the front, not from the back. So leaders lead from the front, right?
Yeah.
So basically now it's like you have, I know you're someone's mom, but now if you want, I don't know if your daughter or your son, but if you want your daughter to be playing on that stage, we have to lead from the front, so that they can actually be here to. ZCUSA will be there for them to dance the same way you were doing it. So we have to actually pay it forward. So that's where I come in and I'm like, look, I'm a person where I don't back down. I'm a leader in my own endeavors, but I'm a person where I'm resilient, and I'm like, okay, let's go, guys. You might criticize me, you might say whatever you want to say, but we have to keep our eye on the prize. We have to actually make sure this is going to be built. So that's why I said in the beginning of this conversation is, it doesn't really matter about your political views. It doesn't even really matter about the soccer team you cheer for, or the soccer jersey you're going to wear. What matters is that you are part of a community. Community means everybody. It doesn't mean we're going to say this person likes this party, so we're not going to really support you. We're going to be there. It doesn't matter whether you are a paid member or you're not a paid member. We want you to be part of it. Maybe if we include you without paying anything, you're going to see value in what we're doing. That's going to motivate you to want to be part of ZCUSA. Does it make sense?
Oh, it does. It does actually make sense. And
Yeah.
you see, guys, there's hope. There is actually hope. And no, I'm just glad that we had this we had an opportunity to sit down with you, get
Mhm.
to discuss some of the issues that were concerning in the community.
Mhm.
And like you heard from some of the people, like Eugene, saying, you know what, in the future, they also want to see buildings, offices, and physical spaces and what have you. And I'm sure now that people have had a wake up call, I feel like hopefully, you'll leave something tangible for
Mhm.
people to keep holding on to, even for future generations, the younger generation, the youth, and what have you.
Mhm.
And I'm sure, I'm sure you try and leave that as your legacy within ZCUSA.
Exactly. That's why I say the leaders to come, right? I'm not here to.
Yeah,
I'm not here
yeah,
to be there for the next 10 years or the next 5 years or whatever. I'm just here to try to build it. We're going to build
yeah,
it, to be honest.
yeah.
And I think that as long as we support each other, we keep the positive mindset, we look at what is everybody else doing, how can we then
Mm.
come and support every single person to be able to thrive, to be able to go for this. And yeah, like we can do this.
Absolutely. So, any final words or final message you would like to share with the Zimbabweans in Alberta, especially those still deciding whether or not to join ZCUSA? Because as much as you mentioned about having a court order or court orders, I don't know. I just, I decided not to get into that because we wanted to focus on the positives of what ZCUSA is all about and trying to achieve more
Mhm.
than anything. So how best can we encourage, or like, or any final words that you can share to the Zimbabweans in Alberta, especially those who are still trying to decide whether or not to join ZCUSA?
So one thing I would say is that those who are 15 to 30 years old, right,
Hmm. Hmm.
and you have some initiative you want to do, right,
Hmm.
do not hesitate to apply for this grant from the government through ZCUSA,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
Don't
Hmm.
be hesitant because that's going to put you on the map yourself. That's going to literally build up whatever you want to do.
Hmm.
Second thing would be we are still in the earning phase. So earning phase, which means that we are trying to earn your trust. So when we actually throw an event, when we actually come out and say we're doing this event,
Hmm.
all I'm asking is come out and support. Come
Yeah.
out and just, and most of the events we're going to be doing, it's not going to be monetary. So it's not going to be like something like, oh, you got to pay or whatever it is.
Hmm.
It's going to be on the, just come out, chat with people, look what's going out there, and come say hi. Even like a lot of people have my number now, like it's everywhere. Say hi.
Hey,
Ask
Dickson is
questions.
famous, guys.
No, I'm not famous.
I just thought I should put it out there. But anyway, no, the way you're like, oh yeah, my number's out there is
No,
like
it's out
out
there because
there.
I have people who text me who I don't even know who are not my contacts. So
Yeah,
it means my
yeah,
number is getting out there. So
yeah.
basically,
And besides, we have a WhatsApp group too, right? So I
exactly,
bet you, yeah, that's where.
in the WhatsApp group, and come check us out. If you have an event, let us know in advance. We're gonna ask how can we help. If we can help, we will come through for you, and we'll see what we can do. Because if we can have people, even if we do our first gathering and we have 10 people, the next gathering we need 20, the next gathering we need 30. The way we build momentum is we want to leave you with memories where you come to one event and you're like, oh my God, this is what I actually got and inspired and all of that. And next time I'm willing to bring a friend. I'm willing to bring an uncle. I'm willing to bring an aunt. So that's how it's gonna go. But at the end of the day, that's like literally what we're looking for.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Dickson, for the opportunity. Pamberi nezikusa. Ruanashi, I can't do with you right now, okay? Someone's mom, we can't do with you right now, but yes, Ruva, coming back to, support and just, show how we did it back in the day is really important. I really loved what you mentioned, Dickson, that we should come and just show how it was done, and maybe they need to do it better, right? Maybe they have a different way of doing it, right? Because now we live in a technical world, digital world, too much AI, too much TikTok and all that fun stuff. They might even have stuff that can actually go viral on TikTok as ZCUSA, as the ZCUSA youth. Who knows? So do definitely come through to the former youth that was part of ZCUSA back then. But no, Dickson, thank you so much for the opportunity to sit down with you. Tell us a bit more, set records straight. Right. And of course, we're definitely, chances are we're gonna have a catch up with you, like, since right now it's just only been 26 days, right?
26 days.
So we're definitely gonna 26 days, we're gonna plan a catch up with you maybe towards the end of your interim term, and hopefully maybe, proceed with you as the permanent chairman for a couple of years. I believe, I don't know what the term is. Is it 2 years or 3 years?
That's 2 years.
2 years, 2 years. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it wasn't a bad choice. It wasn't really a bad choice. Although I don't know which other candidates were running, so I wouldn't have known. But yeah, I think.
No. I want to thank you for inviting me on this. And at the end of the day, we're here to build. Anything we can support you, just let us know. And how can we then build this together?
Absolutely. And also, the one thing that we actually forgot to put down was for people to get more information, since you actually kind of heard about the youth this, youth that, youth this program, what have you. Just feel free to go on the, what does the AIF mean? Like AIF?
It's, all for youth, all for youth funding. It's all for youth. All for youth. For Black youth, all for youth, yeah.
All for youth funding. Okay, so yes, just go on their website, www. Oh, sorry, we forgot the World Wide Web, aifyouth.com. And then you get more information about the youth program that they're actually helping the youth to come through and figure out what it is that they're passionate about and support them all the way. And there's so much information on their site for that. And if you have questions, feel free to also go on the ZCUSA website, where it's www.ZCUSAalberta.ca, and get into the About Us, or even if you want to go through the whole site, feel free to do that. And people, membership, but just come through and support ZCUSA. And the figures, I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to be viable for a lot of people. I hope it would actually help with, putting it back on the map like that. And then in the future, we wouldn't know how that will run. But thank you so much, Dickson.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
No worries. And I'm hoping to see you later on today at the memorial service that's actually being held in Edmonton. I don't know if you know about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that is awesome. With that being said, thank you for coming through again, for joining us and shedding light on the direction of ZCUSA, where it's headed. And it's clear that the heart of the organization lies in building unity. And we just hope also one day that, the organization will unite regardless of background, regardless of whatever differences people may have. We just want to celebrate the culture. We just want to create opportunities for Zimbabweans across organizations. Across Alberta. And one day we will definitely get there.
Exactly.
All right. So to our amazing, what's that? Sorry.
I said thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. To amazing listeners and viewers, thank you so much for tuning in to After5Radio, where we celebrate Africans in the diaspora. Whether you're in Edmonton or Calgary or beyond, your voice and presence matter. So let's keep the conversations going, get involved, and support each other as a community. And also, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the what do you call it? I wanted to put this. There we go. I always forget to put the ticker for that one. Please do support our YouTube channel, After5Radio. And also, we have our Instagram, as you can see on the ticker below. Hit that like button and share the episode with your friends and family so they get to know what ZCUSA is up to, what they're all about, and how best they can be a part of it, collaborate, and what have you. And all the information that they need is found on their website. So let's spread the the love and spread the vibe. Until then, until next time, stay connected, stay curious, and always remember that this is Tough Love Giggles with your host, the Hype Lady, where we talk, where real talk matters and lives are changed however way we can possible. Thank you so much. Take care and God bless you. Bye, Mr. Maiden, and see you later.
Okay.
All right, take care. Cheers for now.